Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening Complete Edition. So, today I'm going to be talking about one of the new traits that we got, which is the Swordmaster trait. And using that trait, we're going to rework most of the Blade Masters in this game. Most of the Wandering Ronin, you know, the Sons of Steel, the real Sons of Steel, I guess you could say. So, I'm going to be reworking them. And I'm also going to be reworking the Yagyu clan, family I should say. They're only a clan on this start date, but I'm going to be reworking them because most of them are Blade Masters. So why not, right? We can get two in one shot. So we're gonna rework the family slightly, and then we're going to cover the Blade Masters that need to get that Swordmaster trait, which there's quite a bit of them, honestly. I want to say at least 10 samurai you can give Swordmaster to, you know. So let me first talk about the traits that I'm going to be using in the video, right? So the first trait we're going to use is Swordmaster. And what that does is that gives us a +5 attack. Let me check it to make sure before I forget. I don't want to forget that. Imagine it's not +5. Okay. So the Raider significantly increases all units attack by 5. So this is the first trait that we're going to be using to give to most of these Blade Masters, most of them, okay? And then we're also going to sprinkle in 2 other traits wherever we can. The first one, let me just show you guys here. The first one is on the offensive, right? On the offensive gives you a flat attack bonus. Increases own unit's attack, and you can see it scales by 1 point all the way up to level 5, where it jumps up to 2 points, up to level 8. So this is a red trait, so it checks Valor, so it's perfect for Blade Masters. That's the first trait outside of Swordmaster that I'm going to add in wherever we can. And the second trait, it's kind of cool, I've always liked it, is Immovable. Immovable increases your own unit's defense, and it increases it at a rate that's just slightly lower than self-defense. So self-defense is the standard trait for increasing your defense. Immovable is a slightly, and I want to say slightly worse. I don't even think it's worse. It's just barely, okay? So it goes up by 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Whereas I think self-defense gets all the way up to 10. But Immovable is a red trait, so it stacks with Valor. That's what it's checking. It's not checking your leadership like self-defense does. So think about like when you're playing, whenever you're running a build in any RPG game, Immovable is the trait that you give to an off-tank or a two-handed warrior to give them a little bit of defense. So that means it's like something that's either an ability or an equipment that isn't as good as the tank versions, but it's the offensive characters. Usually in every game, it's the only way for an offensive focused character to get a little bit of defense. And because it's an off tank, because it's not usually the focus, you're borrowing an effect from another class, it's always a little bit worse. Just a little bit worse. Although in this game, 2 points, not that big of a deal. Like I said, self-defense scales better in the beginning, and it stays ahead. But self-defense does require you to be in your own territory. Immovable, again, doesn't have that requirement of, hey, I have to be in my own territory to get this bonus of defense. Which is great for these Blade Masters, because these guys are going to want to be fighting most of the time. They're going to want to be not just stuck defending, they're going to want to be attacking and stuff like that. So this trait is really well done. It's really well done. It's not as great as the defensive one, but it's a little bit more flexible, and it works. It's great with characters that just have high attack. So it's excellent. So those 2 traits on the offensive and Immovable, we're going to be adding them through. A few other traits, but those are the main 3. So let's get to the list. I've already gathered everybody together here so we can just look at them. So the first thing I want to say, let's start with the big 3. The big 3. Bokuden, Nobutsuna, and Musashi Miyamoto. So Bokuden, right? Bokuden only has 1 trait in the game. He only has on the offensive. So I added Swordmaster and Immovable. Again, Bokuden having 93 Valor means that immovable is going to scale. It's going to start at level 3. So plus 5 defense, plus 5 attack, and then on the offensive, another 5 attack. And for a lot of these guys, I should have mentioned this right away, but why am I not giving them more nuanced traits? You might say, well, why just Swordmaster? Why just on the offensive? Why just immovable? You know, why not some more gold traits for some of these guys, right? The answer is pretty simple. It's just because most of these guys are wandering ronin, and giving them gold traits would actually hurt them. It would hurt their flavor because they'd be unable to trigger that stuff because they'd have to be required to be a castle lord. A lot of the gold traits that you think of in this game are that you would say, wow, it'd be cool to give Bokuden, I don't know, Decapitator or something, for example. He'd have to be a castle lord to do that. So how many opportunities are you going to get for him to be a castle lord? Or Nobutsuna to be a castle lord, right? A lot of these guys, like I said, they're just wandering ronin. Swordmaster, the best thing about Swordmaster, I think, is that you don't need anything. You get that nice flavor text, that nice theme hit, and as long as you're not an attendant and you're in the unit, it'll trigger. It doesn't require you to not hold land, but it doesn't require you to be a castle lord. So that's the main thing. That's why this package right here is what I'm going to be using for most of them. Swordmaster on the offensive and immovable. Some variation, because you can get this consistently without having to be a castle lord. So, and also you want to save those gold traits for other officers. You don't want to use gold traits that are slightly less thematic when you have something that's right on the nose. Swordmaster's right on the nose. It's going to go to a Blade Master. Perfect. Save those other traits for other officers when you continue to edit. Like, as I continue to edit, I'm going to save the other traits. Like, yeah, maybe Bokuden could have Decapitator. But you know what? There's probably somebody out there who is not a Swordmaster, but is famous for killing a bunch of guys, right? We're going to cover one of those people. So that would be a better fit for that person. And Bokuden's best fit is Swordmaster for now. So there's gameplay reasons, there's thematic reasons. I'm more of a thematic guy first. Anyway, Swordmaster on the offensive, immovable. Nobutsuna, he has hot-blooded, which I kind of didn't want to take off, but if I have to pick one, I'm going to go with hot-blooded because it's such a rare trigger on the battlefield. I mean, on the main map, it'll drive you crazy, but on the battlefield, it's a rare trigger. So we just removed hot-blooded, Nobutsuna, Swordmaster. Now the third guy, Musashi Miyamoto. He has Impregnable. I don't know if that's a reference to him being present at Osaka or something, but that's all that he has. If I'm remembering correctly, I think that's all that he has. Oh no, I think he has these two already. I think Musashi has these two, but we just replaced Impregnable with Swordmaster. Like I said, Impregnable makes no sense. He only has 33 leadership. The only thing I could think of is that it's a reference to him being present at Osaka. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, we replaced that with Swordmaster. Those are the big three. Now getting on the list, let's jump to the family. So the family, Munenori, I didn't change anything. I think he's fine as it is. If there's one person who should have Enlightened Blade, it's Munenori. Why? Because it's Lord dependent, and because he is a Tokugawa retainer, he will pop up as a Lord. He's one of maybe the only person who you can consistently count on to show up as a Lord. I've had Munenori show up, and I've got him to switch sides and rebel many times because he still has that high rebellious trait that a lot of Blade Masters have. But yeah, this guy's, if there's one person who's going to be able to trigger a gold trait, it's going to be Munenori. So I figured, you know what, let's just leave him as is. Again, I hesitate to change spaces. I'm okay with filling spaces, but changing spaces I don't like to do. Now the rest of the family, the Yagyu family. I hope I'm saying that right. Or is it Yagyu? Somebody correct me in the comments. Because I'm saying Yagui, and that sounds like goo. Yagui. Gooee. I'm probably saying it wrong. Anyway, here we go. Hyogonosuke. Got it. Nailed it. Okay, so this guy became the heir to a fighting style Swordmaster. Very simple. Most of the family we gave Swordmaster to. So Swordmaster to this guy. Ieyoshi Yagui, it's not mentioned that he's a Swordmaster. He's the one who joins the Tsutsui to help fight off Hisahide. So instead of giving him Swordmaster, he already has Utmost Devotion, 2 empty trait slots, which is horrible. I gave him On the Offensive and Immovable. Again, On the Offensive will give you a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense. The higher his Valor gets up, which is already at 78, only 2 points. 2 points, and both of these will scale to level 2, which is kind of nice. I mean, getting Immovable up to level 4, level 5, it's basically like getting points in your leadership stat, you know? Okay, next person. Yubei. Yubei only has Hot-Blooded. That's it. I think, yeah, he only has Hot-Blooded. Swordmaster, On the Offensive. He drew his disfavor. That's why I kept Hot-Blooded. A lot of these guys who have Hot-Blooded are guys who get into trouble. That's why they have Hot-Blooded. If you look at their bios, they got into trouble for something, and usually it's because they got into a fight. So, if you got into a fight and you're Hot-Blooded, I give you On the Offensive. You know, that was my thinking there. So Swordmaster and On the Offensive for Yubei, which is pretty good because his Valor's 88, but with Swordmaster and On the Offensive, with these two things, his Valor is basically, what, 94, 95 in terms of attack power? And he's only 2 points away from On the Offensive scaling to the next level. So, Muneaki Yagui. So, this guy is not a Swordmaster. He is Muneyoshi's kid. It says in his thing that he killed 18 men in a blizzard before dying. So, this guy's a savage. So, this is one of those rare cases where I was like, you know what? Decapitator. I think he has Castle Raid already. We also gave him, because of his rebellion, it's in his bio. We gave him On the Offensive and Decapitator. Again, this is just pretty much theme here, because he doesn't have the chances of him becoming a Castle Lord pretty low. I'm not sure when he dies, whatever, but guy killed 18 men in a blizzard. Okay, Decapitator. Muneyoshi, his father. We changed, I think it was Hardline that he had. I think that's what it was called. And we changed that for Swordmaster. So, pretty simple. Swordmaster for Muneyoshi. Again, he was one of those where I really wanted to give, like, Battle Hardened to or something. But some of these traits, I think Battle Hardened, you have to be I think you have to be at least a Castle Lord. If I'm thinking of the right trait, where your stamina is reduced. I feel like some of these Swordmasters could take those traits, where it's like your stamina is reduced a lot at a slower rate, but you have to be a Castle Lord, and that just doesn't happen with these guys. It doesn't fit their theme. You know, these are just students of the Blade. They're not interested in running castles and shit, except for Munenori. So that's the Yagyu family. Now let's cover the best of the rest. Last part, best of the rest. This part might be a little messy because I'm not sure where everybody is, but first one is Kojiro. Kojiro, I mean, the dude's barely alive, but you know what? Sorry, Kojiro. He barely exists, but, you know, he has counterattack. That's his only trait in this game. I gave him Reputation because, you know, the legend is bigger than probably what actually happened. It's literally, like, the guy's famous for losing, is how I feel. So, Reputation and Swordmaster. Very simple, Kojiro. Idosai Ito, Swordmaster. I think he already has On the Offensive, but all he had was that. So we gave him Swordmaster and Reputation. Why do we give him Reputation? Famous swordsman of late Sengoku period. Challenged 33 people during his travels and never suffered defeat. You know what? Let me check something here. Am I crazy, or did this guy... Oh, he killed 18 men. Okay. The other guy challenged 33 people. Okay. Anyway, Idosai Ito. All he has is On the Offensive. We gave him Swordmaster, Reputation because of his bio. Literally says he's famous. Next guy, Munemichi Aisu. Swordmaster and Reputation again. Reputation again, it's more of a thematic thing. Low chance that this will work, but theme. This is the guy who founded the style, the Kage style. Swordsman. Oh, swordsman and son of the founder of the Kage style. I don't even know if his father's in the game. I didn't see him, but I see a portrait there, so I might have missed his dad. Anyway, reputation and Swordmaster. I thought he was the founder, so I might actually take this off. I'll leave it up to you guys. All he has, I think, is on the offensive. So you could just leave these two. Yeah, I'm probably going to take reputation off. Because I thought it said he was the founder. He's the son of the founder. And last but not least, Fusatsuna Sano. We gave him the Swordmaster trait. That's it. He already has on the offensive. He already has plot. Master Swordsman in the text, which is one of the things I look for, Master Swordsman. Some of these guys have quoted the Blade Master, but there's no mention of them being a Master Swordsman or anything. It's just like, yeah, they were a student of the Blade, is their flavor text. Some of the guys that you don't see here. It's like, yeah, they were a student of the Blade, or they were a Master Spearman, and I'm like, well, that's a Master Spearman. That's not a Master Swordsman. So, that's how much of a stickler I am for the theme on this one. Because I'm like, okay, if you're a Master Spearman, there's something else we can find for you. You know, I can find something else for you. But if you're, you know, Master Swordsman, that's what I want. Swordmaster for you. And then, again, a little bit of a distinction between, do they have on the offensive? Do they have on the offensive and immovable? To me, Bokuden is the gold standard. I mean, 93 Valor. This guy's scaling very, very high on everything. And he just hits really, you want him to punch really, really hard. So that's what these guys are for. They come in, they cause a lot of damage, and eventually they get routed because their leadership is so low, if it's just them, you know? So I think it captures the theme. It's like they're going to suffer damage, but they're going to deal a whole lot of damage too. So, yeah, that's about it. I think I covered everything here. Yeah. Swordmaster, man, I really like the trait. I like that it's not restricted to anything. You don't have to be a castle lord or anything. It's just, boom, +5. I like that it complements on the offensive. See, neither one replaces the other. Okay, on the offensive starts at 3, but it scales. It can potentially scale higher than Swordmaster. But Swordmaster just gives you a solid level 3 on the offensive, +5 attack. On the offensive has to get to level 3 to give you +5 attack. So they complement each other, neither one defeating the other. But again, gold trait, flavor text, theme home run, perfect, you know? And then immovable to give you a little bit more survivability for some of these guys. Again, I really like immovable. It hits that distinction of like, it's not as strong as self-defense, but situationally it's better. Because self-defense, you get a better stat increase, but you have to be defending your own territory. Immovable's like, hey, it doesn't matter where you are, you get an increase to your defense, you can last a little bit longer. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We will keep rolling out the traits as they hit me. You know, as the traits hit me, this one just stood out to me. I was like, Swordmaster, we need to give this to the Blade Masters, because a lot of these Blade Masters are just empty. They got no traits. So, so yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. If you could do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Take care, guys. Catch you later.